All right, hey guys, we're back with a little more The One and Only Bob, and this one again is by Katherine Applegate. We are at the part in the book where Bob and Julia have gone over to see Ivan and Ruby. They kind of met at this wall that is in between Ivan and Ruby's enclosures, and this is where they always go and they always meet, and everybody kind of comes over here and talks. And we've just talked a little bit about Ivan's art that he does. Remember, he loves to be creative with anything really, but especially with mud. And Bob was not understanding because when he sees mud, he sees messes and things to play in, whereas Bob sees mud as art and something to be creative with. So it's kind of interesting. We also were reintroduced to Kenyani, who is kind of like Ivan's gorilla girlfriend, and she doesn't really like Bob. She thinks Bob's a bad influence on Ivan, so we can kind of see that they kind of make little snippets at each other. So we're going to start today with a chapter called On the Subject of Chimps. Probably I shouldn't have mentioned the chip angle. Gorillas aren't as open-minded as dogs. A lot of them have a thing about chimps. They think they're clowns. But when I look at apes and gorillas, it seems to me they have a lot more in common than they have to admit. Dogs ain't perfect, but I'll tell you one thing where we rule: tolerance. For us, a dog is a dog is a dog. I see a Great Dane, I say, howdy. I run into a puggle, it's glad to meet ya, how's it going? Smelled any good pee lately? Go to a dog park and you'll see we are equal opportunity playful. You sniff my rear, I'll sniff yours. You don't see that with humans, obviously. Constantly seeing differences where none exist. All those things like skin color, dogs could care less. You think I won't hang with the Dalmatian because he's spotted, or a Shar Pei because she's wrinkly? I'm not saying I love every dog I meet. Snickers comes to mind. But I'll always give a dog the benefit of the doubt. Life is short, play is good, and there are plenty of tennis balls to go around. A very handsome dog. Hi, Aunt Kenyani, Ruby calls. Once again, Ruby, says Kenyani. I am not your aunt. I am a primate, and you, my dear, are not. More's the pity. But if Ivan is my uncle, then you have to be my aunt, Ruby declares. Ahem, says Ivan, pointing to the wall. My painting, Bob. I consider. It looks like a dog? Ruby flaps her ears. I can tell she's trying very hard to stay quiet. A very handsome dog, I add? Is it? It is, Ruby exclaims. It's you, Uncle Bob. Uncle Ivan told me. But who's that? I ask, pointing to another set of mud strokes next to me. Well, I thought you needed a companion, says Ivan. I know you must get lonely at home by yourself all day. Well, it's true, but I've never mentioned that to Ivan. Guy's like a mind reader. I think Snickers and Bob would make a cute couple, says Ruby. I blink in disbelief. Bite your trunk. Ruby starts to reply, but her voice is drowned out by a sharp clap of thunder. Storm's getting close, says Kenyani. Ivan, dear, come on. You know how you hate the damp weather. It's true. He carries around old burlap bags so he won't have to sit on wet grass. A little spoiled, don't you think? Ivan looks at me sheepishly. She knows me so well. Kudzu, one of the baby gorillas, bounds over and leaps onto Ivan's back. Ivan loves all the youngsters, but Kudzu is his favorite. I think she reminds him a little of his twin sister, Tag, who died when she was still a baby. So here's Ivan and Kudzu. So cute. Ride, Kudzu commands. Julia appears, her backpack at the ready. Bob, she calls. We need to get going. Ride now, Kudzu repeats, yanking on one of Ivan's ears. Well, looks like it's time to go, says Ivan. Good to see you, buddy. Stay dry, okay? Will do, big guy. I turn to Kenyani. Enchanted as always, my dear. A trumpeting noise cuts through the air. Uh-oh, says Ruby. That's Aunt Akalo. Akalo, the oldest of the elephant ants, lumbers over. Come on, Ruby. Weather's getting bad. Just one more minute, Ruby pleads. Now. But I need to tell Uncle Bob one more riddle. Now, No, Akilo repeats. Nobody ever listens to the littlest elephant, Ruby complains. You can tell me the riddle next time, kiddo, I say, winking at Akilo. Ruby brightens. Okay, gotta go or I'll be in big trouble. Love you, Uncle Bob. See you later, Uncle Ivan and Aunt Kenyani. I'm not sure, Aunt Kenyani begins, but Ruby is already galloping back to her herd. The beginning. In the distance, thunder growls, long and low and not giving up. Reminds me of my stomach, pre-breakfast. I test the air. Weird. Something isn't right. Julia! It's George rushing over. Hurry up, you need to get inside now. George has an odd scent, like he's on guard. I've only smelled it a few times on him. I look up. The clouds have turned strange shades of green and yellow and gray, all clustered together like rows of fat marshmallows. It's so ugly, it's beautiful. I can't stop looking. The air goes still, like a cat before it leaps on its prey. Kenyani and Ivan and Katsu are racing toward the gorilla village. A fat raindrop hits my nose. It tastes wrong. How can rain taste dangerous? People are yelling, running, opening umbrellas, covering their heads with maps of the park. Then more drops. At the far end of the field, I can just make out Akilo herding Ruby along. Another drop, a dry one, like a pebble. Hail, George says. Julia, now! And he grabs her hand. Rumbling, the sky boils and swirls. Bob, calls Julia, come on! I move to leap off my perch, to run to Julia. I've done it 1,000 times, but this time, I lose my footing. I never slip. I am as nimble as Nutwit, but the rain and the hail. I let out a yelp as I land on Ivan's side of the wall. Splat in the mud. Bob! Julia screams. He'll be okay, George says. I can smell Julia's fear and George's doubt as he drags her away. So, Bob has fallen into the enclosure where Ivan is, and George is pulling Julia away to safety. They don't have time to go back for Bob, and they're just hoping and praying he'll be okay. Next chapter. Torn apart. Noise. It's all noise. Noise that hurts. Noise like a massive truck bearing down on us. The power of its engine. The inescapable wheels. The relentless roar. Nothing to see. Nothing even to smell. Just the terrible sound of the world disintegrating. No way. I'm flying, Bob says. Airborne. Not far, just into the nearby giraffe domain. Not high, just enough to buzz the tops of the tree. Not long, just long enough to stop breathing. But I fly. I'm not alone. Half the world seems airborne. Trees, boards, bicycles, chunks of roofs, umbrellas, chairs, bits and pieces of life. It all levitates past like some horrible magic trick. Something hits my head, a toy truck maybe? And I yelp in pain. And I'm terrified, so scared I pee myself. And I'll be the first to admit it, you try it and see how dry your underpants stay. But still, I fly. Not like in the box with my brothers and sisters. Not like with the owl. This is different. This is me, Bob the dog, spending a moment as Bob the bird. Okay, so the weather has changed, this tornado has hit, and he is flying. So is everything else. Landing. It's over. I land, oomph, hard, on my rear, and I slide to a stop directly underneath Stretch, the oldest giraffe in the place. The roar. By now I realize we're talking a real live tornado vanishes just as quickly as it came, leaving a vacuum. A silence that hurts even more than the noise. Bad dog. And this is why I'm a bad dog. Not bad dog like I chewed your favorite slippers. Bad dog like I'm not a good representative of my species. of any species. I don't think, Ivan, Ruby, Julia, are they all right? I've got to find them. No. That's what a hero dog would do. One of those guys on the Man's Best Friend show. Hero dogs dash into flames and dig into trouble. Hero dogs are fearless. Nope. Not me. Not my style. What do? Bob, untamed and undaunted? I howl like a newborn puppy. Honest. I'm not hurt. Banged up a little, sure, but nothing major. And I don't howl for long, but it's what I do. Like I said, I ain't a saint, but at least I'm honest about my feelings. Stretch, the giraffe. Slowly, with some difficulty, Stretch peers down between his two front legs. His body partially shelters me from the rain. A piece of canvas has draped itself around his neck like an ugly scarf. I swallow my howls. We look at each other, too stunned to form any actual words. Finally, Stretch clears his throat. Hello, he says in a strangely calm voice. What kind of animal might you be, if you don't mind me asking? Dog. Didn't think you guys flew. We don't, as a rule. I pick myself up, move from under Stretch, and take advantage of my surroundings. The pelting rain has slowed some, and the wind has dulled. What was that? Stretch asked, trying and failing to yank the canvas off of his impressive neck. Tornado, I think. I've seen tornadoes on the Weather Channel. They look like water swirling down a drain. If the water were black and full of trucks and trees, they look like death. I gaze up at him. I have to crane my neck. You okay? Yep, says Stretch, but from what I can see, a lot of other folks aren't. Aardvarks. Across the way, I hear something. A small squeak. Who lives over there? I ask Stretch. The Aardvark family, he replies. Lovely neighbors. Carefully, I venture across Stretch's domain. The sky is dark as dusk. I hear a flutter of wings overhead. It's Mitch's, the mockingbird. He's missing some feathers. Bob, he calls, settling on a fence post. Was that you I saw up there? Yep. How are things looking? Not good. A lot of damage. Well, take care of yourself, I say. Likewise. He pauses to straighten a wayward feather. A little hint, by the way, next time you fly, try flapping your paws. I make my way over a broken wooden barrier, tiptoe over some scattered glass and twisted metal, cross the paved path, and arrive at the aardvarks. More sounds. They're coming from what looks like a demolished keeper shed. I hesitate, not sure what to do. It's a big mess, and I'm a really small guy. Also, my head hurts. I feel dazed, funny. My ears are ringing. I yank off some small stray boards with my mouth. For the record, small stray boards have small stray nails in them. Underneath the boards are 3 shivering aardvarks, 2 babies and a mom. They're strange looking, I have to say, with their long pointy snouts and their little bunny ears. You good, I ask? Well, what was that? The mother manages to ask. Some seriously bad weather, I say. Is it over? I consult the wind. Doubt it. You think everybody's okay? She asks. Do you know? Sure hope so. And then it hits me. Ivan, Ruby, Julia, George. Look, I gotta go, I say in a strangled voice. Any part of your indoor den survive? She nods. Think so? Go there, lie low. Where's Pedro? The littlest aardvark asks. I feel my head with my front paw. A nice bump is forming. Well, who's Pedro? Our keeper. He'll come, I promise. Are you sure? The baby asks. I'm sure, I say, but of course, I'm lying. Sounds. The eerie quiet doesn't last. Before long, the squeals and the shrieks and the brays and the squawks of the animal kingdom crowd the air. Terror, confusion, and pain. From far off comes the wailing of sirens. Car alarms blare from the parking lot. Now and then people shout. Cries for help translate into any language, human or animal, fish or fowl. Never want to hear those again. Never, ever. Smells. And the smells. Like I said, feelings have a scent. I figured I'd smell pretty much everything there was to inhale in this big old world. But the smell of sheer terror, of helplessness, of blood, of broken bones, of torn wings, well, turns out there are a whole lot of smells I've never encountered. I didn't know how lucky I'd been. Surveying the damage. I pick my way past the devastation. The tornado has left a random path of misery. The African aviary is gone, simply gone. The kids' farmhouse nearby, untouched, although there are some very flustered chickens clucking like all get out from the safety of their henhouse. I see few people. Hopefully a lot of potential visitors were scared off by the threatening weather. It looks like some of the animals listened to their early warning systems, those little voices inside telling them bad weather is coming your way. Quite a few seem to have taken cover before the brunt of the storm. Wish I'd paid more attention to my own internal weatherman. I pass the penguin viewing window, the one that allows visitors to watch their graceful swimming. Several penguins are underwater, swooping and swiveling. Joe, Jim, I call, and they both swim over. Bert okay, I ask. Baby Bert pops his little head out of the water. Hey, Bob, did you know we're having a storm? Yeah, I noticed. All good here, Bob, Joe says. You? Yep, took a little flight, though. Daddy, says Bert, can I fly? In the air? Nope, says Joe. You fly underwater. You're a penguin. So Bob flew, and he's a dog. Bob is a very special dog, says Joe, and he gives me a look, a grown-up, just between us look that says, we're all right, but what about the others? All right, that's where we're going to stop, and we will continue next time. Bye, guys.